Hello friends, welcome to Dezinlife. Friends, in pharma business analysis, most of the time we talk about either sales or some numbers, you can say. We hardly talk about the prescription or prescription data. Probably because it put us in some difficult situation, or when we talk about say prescription, it will look like we are some difficult questions are being asked. I remember when I started my career as a medical rep at Sun Pharma long back, I was told that first job of the medical rep is the continuous generation of the prescription, and the second job is the conversion of those prescription into sale by making the product available. I still buy that job responsibility definition, and thanks to my trainers for that. So the first job in the pharma business is a prescription, not the sale. Sale is the second job, that too as a conversion of the prescription, which means by making the product availability. So prescription is supreme. Friends, today we are starting a series of the pharma prescription analysis rather than the sales analysis. But before proceeding further, we must thanks to SMSRC for providing us data support for bringing this analysis to you. Without their support, it was certainly not possible. Today we are starting this series with the prescription analysis of consultant physicians. See, consultant physicians make the second biggest universe of the doctors after GP, and in our doctor list also probably they may be the one of the largest number on the doctor list also may be a consultant physician. When we think about consultant physician, what consultant physician prescribe? Normally we think about say antibiotics, gastro product, and more so cardiac and diabetic. That's our thought process usually is. But when we look at say actual data, this may not be right, at least sequence per se. We'll analyze last 1 year data, or you can say last 1 year prescription data of the consultant physicians. So physician prescription contain 20.62% of the GI product, that is highest. Looks expected comparatively. But the second highest is the painkiller, which is 13.1% of their prescription contain painkillers, which little to me it looks little more, but that's how the reality is. The third highest prescription of consultant physician user antibiotic, that is coming at 12.33%. And then fourth, again looks to be little surprise, is the nutraceutical. The fourth highest prescription consultant physician nutraceutical at 11.22, 11.88%. Then comes cardiologist prescription, cardiology drug prescription 8.43%, and sixth rank again with little surprise. It is not the diabetic, but sixth ranks are being held by the cough and cold prescription, which is 5.79% of the consultant physicians, and then only come the diabetic or obesity product at 4.70%. So when you look at this, how much of the different especially drug the consultant physicians write, this itself contains some kind of surprises, and they write for other specialties also. Now I'll talk about say some other specialty drugs or some these specialty drugs, how much they write, how much those specialists write, and then look at the numbers, how we can use them and how we can how it can help them you make your own strategy of your own company. First we look at say respiratory products. A consultant physicians contain 4.77% of respiratory product. In our sample size, this number of the prescription last 1 year is 71,000. When we see the chest physician prescription for the respiratory products, they contain 14.50% of respiratory drugs. At that number in our sample size is 39,000. Now we may look at say at universe, number of consultant physicians are much more than the number of chest physicians, and in our own sample size also the number of consultant physicians will be much more than the chest physicians. At the same time, when we compare with the consultant physicians with any specialist, in any specialist cases, longevity of the prescription will be obviously more. It may be value may be more, but here we are looking at say number of prescription and percentage they contain. So when you compare these two numbers, consultant physicians number of prescription in our universe is 71,000 for respiratory products, and chest physician it is only 39,000. And another important thing is the growth rate. The growth rate of consultant physician prescription of the respiratory product are 0.97% against the chest physician prescription growing by 0.93%, which means they are growing little more. So when we think about promoting the respiratory product to the physician, we need to think about their number of prescription, how much they are prescribing, and how they are growing, even current trend also. And this last 1 year data is not say 2 month or 4 month data, which holds some grounds. Same way when we look at consultant physician prescription for diabetic and obesity products, a consultant physician contain 4.7% of these drugs. Same time when we look at diabetologist prescription, that contain these drugs 18.70%. And then we look at say absolute number in last 1 year, consultant physician number of prescription for diabetic products are 70,000 and growing by 9.06%, which is a huge growth. At the same time, where number of prescription of the diabetic products written by the diabetologist are only 42,000 and they are degrowing by 3.93%. So again, it's not only number of prescription. When you look at growth or degrowth, consultant physicians prescription of diabetic products are growing by more than 9%, and diabetologist prescription diabetic products are degrowing close to 4%, precisely degrowing by 3.93%. So while making a promotion plan of the diabetic product, whether to consultant physician, whether to diabetologist, we need to think or keep this data in the mind. Now coming to consultant physician prescription for the cardiovascular drugs. A consultant physician prescription contain 8.43% as a prescription of the cardiovascular drugs, while the cardiologist contain their prescription 27.71% of cardiovascular drug. But again, when you look at sample size and look at absolute number of prescription last 1 year, in the case of consultant physician it is 1.25 lakhs, while in the case of cardiologist it is only 1.12 lakhs. The number is more. You again look at universe, the number of doctor difference, and the longevity may be difference, but while promoting cardiac product to the physician, we need to think about these facts also. Same way, when you look at the consultant physician products prescription for the CNS products, CNS products, they find a 4.24% place in the consultant physician prescription. But when we look at say prescription of the psychiatrists and neurologists, these products find a place 35.01% and 72.69% respectively. But when we look at say combined neurologist, neurosurgeon and psychiatrist combined number of prescription in our sample size in last 1 year is 1.46 lakhs, again physician 63,000. It is much less, but it is number is still good number when you look at say the way companies promote to physicians and the way company focus on the neurologist, psychiatrist. So again, the good number of say prescriptions are coming from the consultant physician. And today's last segment will discuss about orthopedic. In the orthopedic or the pain reliever drugs, they find place in consultant physician prescription 13.10%, and in case of orthopedic their prescription find the MSA 43.36%. But when you compare the two sample size, or say compare the number of prescription in this our sample size, in the case of physicians the number is 1.94 lakhs, is a huge number. In case of orthopedic it is only 1.55 lakhs. So again, number in the case of consultant physician is much more, so we need to think while making the promotion plan. So when we decide about the promotion of the product to different specialties, whether to CNS, whether cardiac or diabetic, these product to consultant physicians, our promotion mix also has to change, our promotional strategy has to change, our inputs has to change. We may have to depend more on the CMEs, or you can say more of education promotional plan, and which may give you better ROI also. Not only that, when you promote more your product to the physicians, apart from this academic program, your prescription spread increase, your availability in the market increase. So when you look at say longevity point of view, it's a specialist, but when you look at say availability point of view, depth point of view, it is always better to having the physician prescription. So I would like to conclude with the help of the technology, or will the help of the data or the resource which are available today, or with the help of the expert advice which is available, let us take an informed decision about your company strategy, which work for your company and which not. Or what we can say, let us make for your company, your division, a customized strategy which can work for you, and use the data, use the expert advice. I hope that today's video will be useful to you. Thank you very much for watching us today. We'll come out the next video about the cardiac or diabetic products. Thank you very much.